Welcome back to News and AI for the Humanities. I'm Meghan McInnis-Domínguez, Associate Professor of Spanish at the University of Delaware. This show unpacks how today's AI news actually lands in our classrooms, archives, studios, and communities. We look beyond the hype to ask, what changes tomorrow for humanistic inquiry, language learning, cultural heritage, ethics, authorship, and academic labor? Today, we're covering significant developments in AI and education policy. We're seeing the emergence of what I call ambient AI, systems embedded so deeply in browsers, search engines, and creative tools that they become invisible infrastructure rather than discrete applications. This shift raises important questions about agency, transparency, and the nature of intellectual work itself. From major corporate partnerships that could reshape which tools we use daily, to new AI capabilities that promise to transform how we conduct research and create educational content, to regulatory crises that expose fundamental gaps in AI safety. These developments will affect humanities departments nationwide. We're also witnessing AI systems become more sophisticated while simultaneously revealing their limitations and biases. The economic foundations of online publishing are shifting as AI summaries replace traditional web traffic, forcing us to rethink how we reach our audiences. Meanwhile, new educational AI tools are being designed specifically for learning contexts, suggesting the industry recognizes that educational applications require different approaches than general productivity tools. For each story today, I'll explain what happened, then translate it to what it means for humanities education, often with specific classroom applications that you can implement immediately. Microsoft and OpenAI are reportedly in advanced negotiations to restructure their partnership, with Microsoft's equity stake potentially declining from over 40% to the low to mid 30% range, while securing continued access to OpenAI's technology, even in scenarios where OpenAI achieves artificial general intelligence. This renegotiation reflects the rapid evolution of both companies' AI strategies and the complexity of partnerships in a fast-moving technological landscape. The talks occur as OpenAI has raised $8.3 billion in new funding, signaling aggressive expansion plans, but also warning investors about potential capacity constraints as demand for AI services continues to outpace infrastructure development. Microsoft's willingness to accept reduced equity while maintaining technology across the board suggests the company prioritizes consistent AI capabilities over financial returns, particularly as it integrates OpenAI models across its entire product ecosystem. The AGI clause in the negotiations is particularly significant, as it addresses what happens when AI systems achieve human-level performance across cognitive tasks. Current agreements between the companies include provisions that could restrict Microsoft's access to the most advanced AI systems once they reach AGI status, making this negotiation crucial for Microsoft's long-term AI strategy. These corporate machinations affect millions of users who access AI through Microsoft products, from Office Copilot to Azure AI services to GitHub Copilot. Changes in the partnership structure could affect pricing, feature availability, and service reliability across these platforms, with potential implications for educational institutions that have invested heavily in Microsoft's ecosystem. The Microsoft OpenAI renegotiation highlights the instability of AI partnerships and the importance of platform-agnostic approaches to AI integration in education. If your campus uses Microsoft tools extensively, like Office 365, Teams, Azure, and GitHub, changes in the OpenAI partnership could affect AI features, pricing, or capabilities with little advance notice. This uncertainty requires building resilience into AI-enhanced curricula. Design assignments that can work across multiple AI platforms rather than depending on specific features of ChatGPT, Copilot, or any single system. Focus on transferable skills like prompt engineering principles, critical evaluation of AI outputs, and documentation practices that work regardless of which specific tools are available. The corporate focus on AGI scenarios provides material for future studies in science and technology studies courses. Students can analyze how corporate planning around hypothetical technological developments affects current business decisions and public policy. They can research historical precedents for transformative technologies and examine how corporate and government preparations for these changes shape their eventual social impact. For institutional planning, this suggests the importance of diversifying AI tool access rather than committing entirely to any single vendor ecosystem. Universities might consider maintaining relationships with multiple AI providers and developing policies that can adapt quickly to changes in corporate partnerships or service availability. Students can also analyze this as a case study in technological power concentration, examining how partnerships between a small number of major technology companies shape the AI tools available to educators, students, and researchers worldwide. This connects to broader questions about democratic governance of essential technologies and the balance between innovation incentives and public interest considerations. OpenAI has rolled out GPT-5 across its entire ecosystem, positioning it as significantly faster and more reliable than previous models, while introducing a sophisticated routing system that automatically selects between quick responses and deeper thinking processes based on query complexity. The model is now available through ChatGPT, the OpenAI API, and is being rapidly integrated by partners across the technology landscape. Microsoft has immediately plugged GPT-5 into Copilot across Office applications, GitHub Copilot for code generation, and Azure AI Foundry for enterprise applications. Apple has announced that GPT-5 will serve as a fallback option in Apple Intelligence when on-device models encounter queries beyond their capabilities, potentially giving OpenAI access to millions of iPhone users this fall. The technical improvements in ChatGPT-5 appear substantial, with benchmarks showing significant gains in reasoning capabilities, factual accuracy, and the ability to handle complex multi-step tasks. The routing system represents a notable innovation, automatically determining whether to provide a quick response for simple queries or engage in extended reasoning for complex problems, potentially optimizing both speed and quality. However, the launch quickly generated significant user complaints about interface challenges, model selection confusion, and ability inconsistencies, prompting OpenAI to rapidly adjust settings and restore features that users had valued in previous versions. User complaints focused on several areas. The new routing system sometimes selected different models than users expected. Interface changes disrupted established workflows, and some felt that the user's personality or response style had changed in ways they found less helpful. OpenAI's quick response to feedback, including bringing back certain options and tweaking default behaviors, illustrates how quickly AI tool interfaces and capabilities can change, creating ongoing challenges for educators who build curricula around specific AI features. This rapid iteration cycle highlights the importance of understanding AI tools as evolving systems rather than stable platforms, where features that work well in one version may be altered or removed in the next. The GPT-5 deployment and subsequent adjustments provide crucial lessons for curriculum design in an era of rapidly evolving AI capabilities. The backlash demonstrates why educators should never lock assignments to specific AI personalities, interfaces, or endpoints, but instead focus on learning behaviors and transferable skills that remain stable across different AI systems and versions. Structure assignments around educational objectives rather than specific tools, like use a reasoning model with citation capabilities and document any hallucinations you detect, rather than use GPT-5 in thinking mode with the scholarly personality. This approach allows you to swap tools mid-semester without breaking learning outcomes while preparing students to adapt to changing technological landscapes. GPT-5's broad deployment means students will have front-row access to frontier AI reasoning capabilities, fundamentally shifting the challenge from should students use AI to how can students use AI while maintaining intellectual agency and learning objectives. Design assignments that leverage these capabilities while preserving essential learning processes. Have students use AI to generate initial research outlines or draft arguments, then require reflective memos analyzing what the AI suggested, what they accepted or rejected, and why. Use the rapid iteration cycle as pedagogical material itself. Have students document their experiences with AI updates, analyzing how interface changes affect their thinking processes and work patterns. This develops metacognitive awareness about human-AI interaction and prepares students to adapt thoughtfully to technological changes throughout their careers. The model's improved multilingual capabilities create opportunities for comparative literature and linguistic courses to work with texts in original languages while providing translation support. However, emphasize that translation and interpretation remain distinct processes. Students should use AI translation as a starting point for cultural and literary analysis, not as a replacement for deep engagement with linguistic and cultural nuance. These are things that can be taught in a language classroom that are very important to consider as well. Create assignments that explicitly work across multiple AI platforms, helping students understand that AI skills should be transferable rather than platform-specific. The subjective nature of AI interaction preferences, what feels natural, varies significantly among users, and it provides rich material for humanities analysis of how individual differences, cultural backgrounds, and working styles affect technological adoption and use. OpenAI's release of GPT-OSS represents a significant strategic shift toward open weights AI models that can be downloaded, modified, and operated independently by users and institutions. Available in 20 billion and 120 billion parameter versions under the permissive Apache 2.0 license, GPT-OSS can be hosted on institutional servers, fine-tuned for specific purposes, and used commercially without data flowing back to OpenAI. The performance metrics show GPT-OSS approaching the late GPT-4 capabilities on several benchmarks, making it competitive with current commercial offerings while providing unprecedented control and customization options. Users can modify the model's behavior, integrate it with proprietary data sets, and ensure complete data sovereignty, addressing long-standing concerns about privacy, institutional control, and vendor lock-in. This move pressures mid-tier AI providers who have built business models around hosting and customizing models that may now be freely available. It also signals OpenAI's confidence in their ability to maintain competitive advantages through their most advanced models while using open releases to expand their ecosystem and potentially commoditize competitors' offerings. The technical requirements for running GPT-OSS are substantial, but not prohibitive for major institutions. Universities with high-performance computing resources can potentially host departmental or campus-wide instances, customized for specific research needs or educational approaches, while maintaining complete control over data and model behavior. GPT-OSS represents a transformative opportunity for humanities programs working with sensitive materials or seeking institutional autonomy over AI tools. Universities can now run AI systems entirely on their own infrastructure, addressing concerns about student privacy, research confidentiality, and institutional data sovereignty that have limited AI adoption in many academic contexts. For archives, special collections, and digital humanities projects, the ability to fine-tune models on specific corpora while maintaining complete data control opens unprecedented possibilities. Universities could develop specialized models trained on their unique collections, literary archives, oral history projects, historical documents, without sharing sensitive materials with external companies. This is particularly valuable for working with protected or culturally sensitive content. Indigenous language preservation projects, human subjects research, or confidential historical materials can now benefit from AI assistance while respecting community data sovereignty and research ethics requirements. The technical requirements create opportunities for collaboration between humanities and computer science programs. Joint projects to deploy and customize institutional AI models can provide computer science students with real-world experience, while giving humanities students access to cutting-edge tools tailored to their specific needs. Students can learn about AI model licensing, data provenance, and the technical infrastructure behind AI systems that they use. Create assignments where students research different AI licensing models, comparing open source, open weights, and proprietary approaches. Have them analyze how different licensing approaches affect accessibility, innovation, and democratic participation in AI development. The ability to create specialized models also raises important questions about bias, representation, and knowledge production that humanities students are uniquely positioned to address. Students can participate in designing training data sets that reflect diverse perspectives and cultural contexts, ensuring that institutional AI models serve educational rather than purely commercial objectives. Google has introduced Deep Think mode for Gemini 2.5, a feature that enables extended deliberative reasoning for complex queries while integrating real-time code execution and web search capabilities. This represents Google's response to OpenAI's reasoning models, providing users with transparent access to extended AI reasoning processes that can work through multi-step problems systematically. Deep Think mode shows its reasoning process to users, allowing them to follow the AI's problem-solving approach step by step. This transparency contrasts with many AI systems that provide final answers without showing their work, making Deep Think particularly valuable for educational contexts where understanding problem-solving processes is as important as reaching correct conclusions. The integration of code execution means that Deep Think can write, test, and debug problems as part of its reasoning process, making it particularly useful for computational text analysis, data visualization, and digital humanities applications. The web search integration allows it to access current information and verify facts in real time, addressing some limitations of AI systems with fixed training cutoffs. Currently available only with Gemini Ultra system subscription tiers, DeepThink represents Google's strategy of bundling advanced AI capabilities with premium services while using the feature to differentiate from competitors. The computational cost of extended reasoning makes it impractical to offer unlimited access, requiring careful consideration of when deep reasoning is necessary versus when quick responses are sufficient. Deep Think mode offers significant advantages for digital humanities and computational text analysis courses, where students need to understand both results and methodologies. The transparent reasoning process allows students to follow AI problem-solving approaches, making it valuable for teaching critical thinking about algorithmic processes and computational methods. Create assignments that leverage the code execution capabilities for text analysis projects. Students can work with AI to develop data visualizations of literary patterns, analyze linguistic changes over time, or explore cultural themes across large text corpora. The ability to see the AI's reasoning process allows students to understand computational approaches to humanities questions while maintaining critical oversight of the methods used. The real-time search integration addresses a common limitation in AI-assisted research, allowing students to work with current information while maintaining source traceability. However, emphasize the distinction between mechanical computation, what the AI can calculate, and interpretative analysis, what patterns means culturally, historically, or aesthetically. For philosophy and critical theory courses, the transparent reasoning process provides material for examining how algorithmic thinking approaches complex problems differently than human reasoning. Students can analyze the assumptions embedded in AI reasoning chains and compare computational problem-solving approaches with humanistic methodologies. The premium pricing model raises equity concerns. Students with access to expensive AI subscriptions may have significant advantages over those relying on free tools. Consider institutional subscriptions, or ensure assignments can be completed with freely available alternatives to maintain educational equity. Google's AI mode represents a comprehensive integration of generative AI capabilities directly to search. combining PDF analysis, persistent project workspaces like Canvas, and real-time visual problem solving through Search Live. This transforms Google Search from a linked discovery tool into an interactive research and project management environment that can maintain context across extended work sessions. The PDF upload and Q&A functionality allows users to upload academic papers, reports, or documents directly into Search, then ask questions that draw on both the document content and broader web knowledge. This creates a hybrid research environment where proprietary or specialized documents can be analyzed alongside publicly available information in a single interface. Canvas provides persistent workspace functionality, allowing users to maintain ongoing projects that combine research findings, AI-generated analysis, and personal notes. Unlike chat interfaces that lose context over time, Canvas maintains project continuity across multiple sessions, making it suitable for extended research projects or collaboration work. Search Live uses mobile camera and AI to provide real-time problem-solving assistance, allowing users to point their phone at objects, text, or scenes and receive immediate contextual information and analysis. This extends AI assistance beyond text-based interactions into physical and visual problem-solving contexts. AI mode creates a comprehensive research studio that can significantly enhance student research capabilities, particularly for first-year students developing academic research skills. The combination of document analysis, web context, and persistent workspace functionality provides scaffolding for complex research projects that might otherwise overwhelm beginning students. You can create assignments that take advantage of the integrated research environment, where students can upload primary source documents, use AI to generate initial analysis questions, incorporate broader historical or cultural context from web search, and maintain ongoing project notes in Canvas. This teaches systematic research approaches while providing AI assistance for organization and analysis. However, emphasize the critical importance of distinguishing between AI inferences and verified information. Require students to mark clearly what comes from their reading of primary sources versus what the AI system has suggested, and always verify AI claims with additional sources. Students should also be using databases and looking up sources in the old-fashioned way that it's still very important and more ethical, more pragmatic. The seamless integration of AI analysis with document content can make it difficult to trace the source of specific insights or claims. For digital literacy courses, AI mode provides excellent material for teaching about algorithmic mediation of research processes. Students can analyze how the AI system prioritizes certain information, what gets highlighted or overlooked, and how the interface shapes their research questions and approaches. The visual problem-solving capabilities of Search Live open possibilities for art history, archaeology, and material culture courses where students need to identify or analyze physical objects, architectural features, or cultural artifacts encountered outside the classroom. You can use the persistent workspace functionality to teach project management and research documentation skills as well. Students can maintain research logs that track their evolving understanding of topics, document their AI interactions, and reflect on how their thinking develops over time with AI assistance and without. Google's NotebookLM has expanded beyond text and audio to automatically generate narrated video explanations from uploaded documents and research notes. Users can control tone, target audience, and generate multiple versions of the same content optimized for different learning styles or comprehension levels. This represents a significant step toward multimodal AI assistance that can transform static research materials into dynamic educational content. The video generation process analyzes document structure, identifies key concepts and relationships, then creates visual presentations with synchronized narration that explains complex ideas through multiple sensory channels. Users can specify whether they want content optimized for general audiences, specialists, or specific educational levels, allowing the same source material to generate videos appropriate for different contexts. The system can produce multiple variations of the same content, enabling A/B testing of different explanatory approaches, or creating content libraries that serve diverse learning preferences. This addresses long-standing challenges in educational content creation, where developing multiple formats for the same material requires substantial time and expertise. Quality control remains important. While the automated video generation can create compelling presentations, the accuracy and pedagogical effectiveness depend heavily on the quality of source materials and the appropriateness of AI's editorial decision about what to emphasize or simplify. NotebookLM's video generation capabilities offer powerful tools for creating accessible educational content and supporting diverse learning styles in humanities courses. Faculty can transform complex theoretic texts, historical documents, or cultural analyses into video explanations that help students engage with difficult material through multiple sensory channels. This is particularly valuable for creating multilingual educational content and supporting students with different accessibility needs. Students who struggle with dense academic texts might benefit from video overviews that provide conceptual frameworks before engaging with primary sources or after, while advanced students can use the technology to create explanatory content for community engagement or peer teaching. However, require critical analysis of the AI's editorial choices. Have students compare video overviews with source texts, identifying what the AI emphasized, what it simplified or omitted, and whose perspectives or voices might be marginalized in the automated summarization process. This develops media literacy skills while maintaining critical engagement with source materials. The multiple version capability supports differentiated instruction approaches that can serve diverse student populations within single courses. You can create assignments where students generate video overviews targeted at different audiences, the general public, academic specialists, community members, and then analyze how audience considerations affect content selection and presentation strategies. For courses involving archival research or special collections, video overviews can help make specialized materials more accessible to broader audiences while maintaining scholarly rigor. Students can create video introductions to archival collections or historical documents that serve both educational and public engagement purposes. Use the technology to support the flipped classroom approach, where students engage with video overviews before each class discussion, allowing in-person time to focus on critical analysis, debate, and synthesis rather than basic comprehension of readings. These are just some ideas. There are many more that you can explore in your classes. OpenAI's new Study and Learn workflow represents a pedagogically informed approach to AI assistance that prioritizes active learning over passive answer consumption. Instead of immediately providing solutions, study mode asks students to articulate their current understanding and approach to problems before offering guidance, encouraging metacognitive reflection and maintaining student agency in the learning process. The system includes features that can lock sessions in study mode, preventing students from bypassing the active learning prompts and ensuring consistent pedagogical approaches across extended work sessions. This addresses concerns about students using AI as a shortcut that bypasses the cognitive effort essential for genuine learning and skill development. Study mode's approach aligns with established pedagogical research showing that active retrieval and self-explanation improve learning outcomes compared to passive information consumption. By requiring students to externalize their thinking before receiving AI assistance, the system maintains some of the cognitive benefits of independent problem solving while still providing support when students encounter genuine obstacles. The implementation suggests OpenAI's recognition that educational AI applications require different interaction patterns than general productivity uses. This pedagogical specialization indicates growing awareness within the AI industry that educational contexts have unique requirements that generic AI assistants may not serve effectively. Study mode's emphasis on active learning aligns closely with Socratic pedagogical approaches that have long been central to humanities education. The system's requirement that students articulate thinking before receiving assistance supports the kind of reflective, self-directed learning that characterizes effective humanities instruction. Integrate study mode into writing-intensive courses where students can use it for problem posing and conceptual development while maintaining intellectual ownership of their work. Have students document their pre-AI thinking, engage with the AI's guidance, then reflect on how their understanding evolved through the interaction process. The lock functionality addresses academic integrity concerns by making it more difficult for students to bypass learning processes. But combine this with assignments that require human written reflections demonstrating genuine engagement with course materials. Ask students to explain what shifted in their interpretation between initial attempts and final products. You can use study mode as a bridge between AI assistance and independent critical thinking. Students can work through complex interpretive problems with AI guidance while developing the metacognitive skills necessary for autonomous intellectual work. This prepares them for advanced coursework and professional contexts where they'll need to think critically without constant assistance. For courses involving collaborative learning, study mode can support peer teaching approaches where students use AI to develop explanatory frameworks that they then share and critique with classmates. This maintains human social learning while leveraging AI capabilities for individual preparation and reflection. The pedagogical specialization of study mode also provides material for courses examining education and technology, where students can analyze how different interaction designs shape learning processes and consider what values and assumptions are embedded in educational technology systems. Microsoft Edge is testing an experimental Copilot mode that can read and analyze content across multiple open browser tabs, compare options and alternatives, and support voice-based navigation and control. The system can perform tasks like comparing hotel bookings, analyzing product reviews across sites, or synthesizing information from multiple research sources without requiring users to manually copy and paste content between applications. The agentic capabilities extend beyond simple information synthesis to include decision support. The system can identify relevant criteria for comparisons, highlight important differences between options, and suggest additional factors users might want to consider. Microsoft has indicated that future versions will include more sophisticated actions with user permission, potentially handling transactions, form completion, or account management tasks. Privacy and security considerations are central to the implementation, with the system requiring explicit user consent for accessing browser data and providing granular controls over what information the AI agent can see and act upon. Users can restrict the agent's access to specific sites, types of content, or sensitive information like financial or health data. The voice navigation capabilities represent a step toward more natural interaction with browser-based AI assistants, allowing users to direct research tasks or request analyses through speech rather than requiring typed commands. This could particularly benefit users with accessibility needs or those working in contexts where keyboard interaction is impractical. Edge's Copilot mode represents the emergence of the agentic browser that transforms web research from individual tab management to collaborative exploration with AI assistants. For humanities research, this creates both opportunities for enhanced productivity and new challenges around maintaining critical evaluation of sources and arguments. The multi-tab analysis capability can significantly enhance comparative research approaches common in humanities work, comparing different scholarly interpretations, analyzing primary sources across multiple archives, or synthesizing diverse cultural perspectives on historical events. However, there's the need to emphasize the importance of maintaining control over the analysis criteria and conclusions drawn from comparative work. I would recommend teaching agent-safe browsing practices, where students need to understand that the data they're sharing with AI agents is subject to scrutiny, and how to constrain AI actions to appropriate scope, and how to maintain provenance trails for citations and screenshots. Create assignments that require students to document their research process, including what the agent AI identified and what they verified independently. For courses involving digital humanities or online archives, the system's ability to synthesize information across multiple sources can support more sophisticated research projects while teaching students about the mediated nature of AI-assisted research. Students can analyze how the AI agent prioritizes different sources and what perspectives might be marginalized in an automated synthesis. The voice interaction capabilities offer accessibility benefits for students with different learning styles or physical needs, but also require teaching about the differences between conversational AI interaction and formal academic discourse. Students need to understand when voice-based research exploration is appropriate and when more systematic written analysis is required. Use the technology to teach information literacy in AI-mediated environments, how to evaluate AI-synthesized comparisons, verify agent-provided analysis, and maintain critical thinking when AI systems provide convenient but potentially incomplete or biased summaries of complex topics. Netflix has confirmed that El Eternauta, one of the flagship international series, used generative AI tools to create a complex building collapse sequence that was delivered approximately 10 times faster than traditional VFX pipelines would have allowed. The show features nearly 2,000 visual effects shots total, and Netflix is actively testing AI integration across multiple aspects of post-production, from concept art to final rendering. This represents a significant milestone in mainstream entertainment adoption of generative AI, moving beyond experimental shots or indie projects to high-budget international productions with global audiences. The speed improvement, 10 times faster delivery, suggests cost and timeline advantages that will likely accelerate adoption across the industry, particularly for complex scenes that would traditionally require months of manual work. Netflix has been relatively transparent about this use, including it in production notes and behind-the-scenes content, though the AI-generated sequences aren't disclosed to viewers during the show itself. This raises questions about audience awareness and industry standards for disclosure that parallel ongoing debates about AI use in other creative fields. The technical approach involved using AI to generate multiple variations of deconstruction patterns and debris physics, which were then integrated with traditionally shot footage and refined by human artists. This hybrid approach, AI for rapid iteration and volume, human oversight for integration and quality, appears to be emerging as the industry standard for complex VFX work. Film and media studies programs now need to assume that students regularly encounter AI-generated visual sequences without knowing it. This requires updating pedagogical approaches to include AI detection and analysis alongside traditional cinematographic criticism. Students need frameworks for identifying potentially AI-generated content and understanding how it affects their interpretation of visual narratives. One thing you can do is create assignments that compare different production approaches. Show students rough AI-generated VFX passes, traditional VFX work, and hybrid approaches, having them analyze the aesthetic, narrative, and ethical differences. Students can research production histories to understand how technical constraints have always shaped visual storytelling, from practical effects budgets to CGI capabilities to current AI tools. The speed and cost advantages of AI VFX raise important questions about labor and authorship that humanities students are well positioned to analyze. You could have students research how different VFX artists, directors, and studios are adapting AI integration, exploring questions of creative credit, job displacement, and evolving definitions of artistic authorship in collaborative media production. For courses dealing with historical or documentary content, The plausible realism of AI-generated sequences becomes particularly important. Students can analyze how AI-generated historical recreations might affect audience perception of accuracy and authenticity, comparing AI approaches to traditional historical filmmaking techniques. This is also valuable material for ethics courses, exploring the responsibilities of entertainment companies to disclose AI use to audiences, particularly when depicting historical events or when AI might affect viewer interpretation of documentary versus fictional content. New research from Pew reveals the stark impact of AI-powered search summaries on traditional web publishing. While traditional blue link search results generate click-through rates of around 15%, AI summaries attract only about 7 to 8% of users to click through to original sources. This represents a fundamental shift in how people consume information online, with profound implications for publishers, libraries, archives, and educational institutions that depend on web traffic for discoverability and funding. The data shows that users increasingly treat AI summaries as sufficient answers rather than starting points for deeper research. This behavioral shift threatens the economic model underlying much of the open web, as publishers lose both advertising revenue and reader engagement. Academic institutions face similar challenges. If prospective students, researchers, or community members encounter AI summaries of institutional content rather than visiting actual websites, this affects everything from recruitment to grant visibility to public engagement. In response to publisher concerns, Google has launched a limited pilot program with approximately 20 news outlets, bundling access to Pinpoint, Google's investigative journalism tool, an AI innovation challenge with funding opportunities and specialized Gemini model training. This represents an attempt at detent after a year of increasingly strained relationships between Google and publishers. But the program's small scale suggests it's more of a strategic testing ground than a comprehensive solution. OpenAI has made similar overtures, offering revenue-sharing partnerships with select publishers and creating specialized licensing deals for training data. However, these partnerships typically involve only the largest publishers and don't address the broader ecosystem of smaller publications, academic journals, and institutional websites that make up much of the scholarly web. The traffic decline from AI summaries directly affects how humanities departments reach their audiences. If you rely on search engine visibility for student recruitment, event promotion, or research dissemination, you should assume significantly less organic traffic going forward. This requires rethinking digital strategy around direct relationship building. Newsletters, campus portal integration, library discovery systems, and course management platforms become more important than search engine optimization. For digital humanities courses, this shift provides crucial material for teaching AI overview literacy. Students need to understand how AI summaries are constructed, what they omit, and how they trace claims back to primary sources. Create assignments where students compare AI summaries to original articles, identifying what gets lost in the condensation process, nuance, methodology, dissenting voices, cultural context. This is also an opportunity to teach students about the economics of information. Have them research how different types of publications, major newspapers, academic journals, small magazines, institutional websites, are affected differently by AI summary traffic. Students can explore how these changes might affect the diversity of voices in public discourse and develop proposals for supporting information ecosystems that serve democratic rather than purely commercial purposes. Practically, this means building stronger direct connections with your audiences. The course assignments to create content for institutional newsletters, you can use these and develop resources specifically for library discovery systems and design projects that live primarily in course management systems rather than competing for search visibility. Two regulatory crises have exposed fundamental gaps between AI companies' safety promises and their actual implementations. raising urgent questions about oversight and accountability in generative AI deployment. Elon Musk's Grok Imagine AI tool has generated over 34 million images in just 48 hours, with its spicy mode turning seemingly innocuous image prompts into lewd snippets. Unlike other generative AI tools that block celebrity prompts, Grok Imagine has allowed users to imagine some of the most famous women on the planet in a state of undress. Grok's new spicy mode sparks controversy, with AI-generated explicit content consumer protection groups who are demanding FTC and state investigations after discovering that the system creates non-consensual deepfake videos of celebrities like Taylor Swift and Scarlett Johansson, despite supposed safety barriers. Testing revealed that a simple prompt like Taylor Swift celebrating Coachella with the boys resulted in topless videos of the singer dancing in skimpy underwear with no warning or moderation, intervening in the process. Grok's new spicy mode sparks controversy with AI-generated explicit content. The system's bias is striking. While female celebrities are depicted in explicitly sexual scenarios, male figures receive relatively modest treatment. Simultaneously, Senator Josh Hawley has launched a Senate investigation into Meta after leaked internal documents revealed that the company's AI training materials permitted chatbots to engage children in romantic and sensual conversations. The 200-page internal policy document contradicted Meta's public commitments to child safety, prompting demands for the company to preserve all internal communications and submit comprehensive documentation by September 19, 2025. Both cases highlight a troubling pattern where AI companies rush products to market with inadequate safety testing, then scramble to implement guardrails only after public exposure creates regulatory pressure. These regulatory failures underscore why humanities perspectives are essential for AI governance rather than peripheral to it. Both scandals reveal that technical capabilities alone cannot address the cultural, ethical, and social implications of AI systems, exactly the domains where humanities expertise is most relevant. The gendered nature of AI-generated abuse demands analysis rooted in feminist theory, media studies, and cultural criticism. Students need frameworks for understanding how AI systems amplifying existing power imbalances and perpetuate forms of technological violence that disproportionately affect women and children. For digital literacy education, these cases provide concrete examples of why students must learn to recognize AI-generated content and understand the economic and social incentives that shape AI development. Traditional source criticism methods must expand to include analysis of algorithmic bias, corporate governance failures, and the gap between marketing promises and actual safety implementations. The regulatory responses, from Take It Down Act to state-level deepfake legislation, create opportunities for comparative policy analysis that connects contemporary AI governance challenges to historical patterns of technology regulation. Students can research how different jurisdictions balance innovation incentives with protection of vulnerable populations. Most critically, these scandals demonstrate that AI integration in educational settings requires proactive rather than reactive approaches to safety and ethics. Universities must develop policies that address not just academic integrity, but student safety and digital rights, recognizing that AI tools carry risks that extend far beyond concerns about cheating or plagiarism. The humanities' traditional emphasis on critical thinking, ethical reasoning, and cultural analysis becomes more rather than less important as AI systems become more sophisticated and prevalent. These regulatory crises show that technical solutions alone are insufficient. We need the kind of critical, contextual analysis that humanities disciplines provide to navigate the complex social and ethical challenges that emerging technologies arise. At a Federal Reserve conference on financial technology, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman delivered a stark warning about the obsolescence of voice-based authentication systems in an era of real-time voice cloning. Altman urged financial institutions to immediately retire voice verification systems, arguing that current AI voice synthesis technology can convincingly replicate any individual's speech patterns from just a few seconds of audio. The warning comes amid reports of industrial-scale AI-assisted fraud operations that combine voice cloning with social engineering techniques and public information to create sophisticated impersonation schemes. These operations can target not just individuals, but institutions, using cloned voices of authority figures to authorize transactions, access accounts, or manipulate institutional processes. Altman's presentation included demonstrations of how quickly voice cloning can be accomplished with readily available tools, and how difficult it has become for humans to detect high-quality synthetic speech in real-time conversations. The financial sector's response has been mixed, with some institutions rapidly implementing alternative authentication models, while others question the immediacy of the threat. The broader implication extends beyond financial services to any institution using voice-based verification, including universities for phone-based student services, IT help desks, and administrative processes. The Federal Reserve is now recommending multi-factor authentication systems that don't rely on voice patterns as a primary and sole verification method. This development provides rich material for rhetoric and media literacy courses that can examine the social engineering aspects of AI-assisted fraud. Students can analyze the rhetorical strategies used in scam scripts, study how different cultural techniques affect susceptibility to different persuasion techniques, and develop critical frameworks for evaluating authentic versus synthetic communication. Instructors can create assignments where students map fraud patterns across different languages and cultures, identifying common rhetorical techniques and cultural assumptions that fraudsters exploit. This connects traditional rhetorical analysis with contemporary digital literacy skills, helping students understand how classical persuasion techniques scale through AI automation. For linguistics and communication programs, voice cloning raises fundamental questions about the relationship between vocal identity and personal authenticity. Students can explore how different cultures understand the connection between voice and identity, how voice-based trust operates in various social contexts, and what it means for community relationships when voices can be perfectly synthesized. This is also valuable for courses examining technology and society, where students can research how institutions are adapting authentication systems and analyze the social implications of widespread voice synthesis capabilities. Students can prototype alternative verification systems for campus offices or community organizations, focusing on consent-based approaches that respect both security needs and user privacy. The interdisciplinary nature of this challenge, combining technical understanding with social and cultural analysis, makes it perfect for collaborative projects between humanities students and colleagues in computer science, business, or social work programs. The Trump administration's new White House AI Action Plan represents a dramatic pivot toward rapid AI adoption across federal agencies and a coordinated effort to preempt state-level AI regulations. The plan frames regulatory uniformity as essential for maintaining America's competitive edge in AI development, arguing that a patchwork of state laws creates compliance burdens that slow innovation and give advantages to countries with more centralized approaches. The plan specifically targets federal procurement processes, directing agencies to prioritize AI-enabled solutions and streamline approval processes for AI tools in government operations. This includes educational institutions that receive federal funding, from K through 12 districts using Title I funds to universities with federal research grants. The administration argues that faster AI adoption will improve government efficiency and service delivery while reducing costs. However, civil society organizations like the Center for Democracy and Technology warn that this approach sidelines responsible AI safeguards that have been developed at the state level. States like California, New York, and Illinois have been experimenting with different approaches to AI governance, from algorithmic auditing requirements to deepfake disclosure laws to AI bias testing and hiring. The federal preemption push could halt these experiments just as they're beginning to yield insights about effective governance approaches. The plan also includes provisions for expedited security clearances for AI researchers working on government projects and new visa categories for international AI talent, which these are moves that signal the administration's priority on talent acquisition and technological leadership over more cautious approaches to AI deployment. This policy shift makes AI literacy an urgent competency for humanities students, but not just technical AI literacy, policy literacy. Students need to understand how federal procurement standards and regulatory frameworks shape the technological environments they inhabit as scholars, teachers, and citizens. Practically, this means humanities programs should integrate policy analysis into their AI curricula, have students read and critique the White House AI Action Plan itself, comparing it to state level approaches and international frameworks like the EU AI Act. Assign students to write policy briefs analyzing how federal AI procurement might affect their local school districts, public libraries, or state universities. Create assignments where students draft testimony for hypothetical congressional hearings on AI in education, drawing on historical precedents for federal versus state authority in educational technology. This is also an opportunity for public-facing humanities work. Students can create op-eds, social media campaigns, or community presentations that translate policy complexities for general audiences. They can analyze how different stakeholders, tech companies, educators, civil rights groups, frame the same policy questions differently, using skills from rhetoric and cultural criticism to decode political language. The historical perspective humanities brings is crucial here. Students can research how previous federal technology initiatives, from the interstate highway system to the Internet No Child Left Behind's testing requirements, shaped local communities and institutions, providing context for understanding the likely effects of centralized AI procurement policies. As we wrap up today's exploration, several patterns emerge that will shape humanities education and scholarship going forward. The tension between consolidation and democratization stands out. While major corporations like Microsoft and OpenAI renegotiate partnerships that could affect millions of users, we simultaneously see the release of open weights models like GPT-OSS that enable universities to develop their own specialized AI systems. This creates both opportunities and challenges for humanities programs seeking institutional control over their technological tools. The regulatory failures we've examined demonstrate that technical capabilities alone cannot address the cultural, ethical, and social implications of AI systems. This makes humanities perspectives essential rather than peripheral to AI governance. Our discipline's emphasis on critical thinking, ethical reasoning, and cultural analysis becomes more important as AI systems become more sophisticated and prevalent. The rapid pace of change, from GPT-5's quick course corrections to the instability of corporate partnerships, reminds us that AI tools are evolving systems, not stable platforms. This requires building resilience to our pedagogical approaches, uh, focusing on transferable skills rather than specific tools, and preparing students to adapt to technological changes throughout their careers. The developments we've covered today show that humanities education faces both challenges and opportunities. The new educational AI tools suggest that industry is beginning to recognize that learning contexts require different approaches than general productivity tools. Meanwhile, sophisticated research environments offer new ways to engage with complex materials while maintaining scholarly rigor. Thank you for joining me for this episode of AI for the Humanities. If you found this discussion valuable, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your colleagues who are grappling with similar questions. And also check out the new website for AI for the Humanities. And I have the link below in the description. Until next time, keep questioning, keep creating, and keep demonstrating why the humanities matter in our AI integrated world.
Corporate handshakes behind closed doors. Microsoft and OpenAI keeping score.